Hey folks, welcome back to Corporate Elements. I am Robbie.
And I'm Johnny. If you have tuned into our previous episodes, you know we love diving into career growth, corporate culture, and leadership insights.
Today's episode is all about how to apply for jobs smartly, the do's, the don'ts, and how to avoid being ghosted or rejected before you are even interviewed.
It's like going on a date and you did really good and you had like multiple dates and then suddenly you're ghosted. I can relate to that particular thing. Yeah. And for our listeners, we're drawing on insights of Andrew Seaman. He's the LinkedIn's senior managing director and host of the Get Hired podcast, as well as field stories from Indian professionals and our own personal research that we did.
Right. Let's start with where most job hunts begin online platforms. Seaman calls LinkedIn your first interview. It's the first place recruiters look even before opening your CV.
Correctly, and rightly said, and that honestly we saw this firsthand. So there was this guy named Kunal based in Pune, and he had been applying with the same resume on multiple platforms. But once he optimized his LinkedIn, added a real photo, and then did his keyword filling summary and posted twice a week, he got callbacks from like three fintech firms in just under 10 days.
So basically, you're saying that one should not copy paste their respective resume in every platform. So from Naukri, update your profile every few days. One of my friend from Deloitte told me this that if you edit your profile every few days, the recruiter algorithms will love it and it will activate your profiles for the employers.
Okay. And that is a really good thing. Like, and I don't understand, everyone has this weird habit of going on Instagram, posting stuff, but they will not do that on LinkedIn. And it's a weird thing. Like, the more hits that you get, your the law of averages works, right? Like, say around 30-40 clicks happen, so at least one will turn up for you, right? And again, you also have to stay clear and away from easy apply traps unless you're customizing. Okay. Quantity does not anytime beat quality.
And what about applying on company's website?
So now there are like direct applications through a company's career page, but those are highly underrated. Okay. So Andrew Seaman also recommends that this is because it shows initiative and helps you stand out from the job board crowd. If everyone is applying through LinkedIn apply button, a lot of times it may not work because that's very easy to do. But if you go on the career company's career page and create your own profile, that shows initiative. And sometimes it helps you to cut down on the algorithm part. Sometimes LinkedIn, when they connect to the Workday platform. So Workday had their own algorithms where they were cutting down certain types of profiles. So rather than going through that, why don't you directly go on the company's career page and log in and do your own adding of the resume? So
Right.
that would be much more helpful. That's what I believe.
Right. We interviewed Richa. She's a fresher from Ahmedabad.
Mhm.
She applied to a design agency via their respective official website. They ran a rebranding campaign and she mentioned about that in her cover letter.
Mhm.
And boom, she got shortlisted the next day.
Okay. So yeah, so everyone, when you're applying on the websites, mirror the tone and language of the company. Mention a project or an initiative they have done recently. And please don't skip the cover letter. Cover letter is like your introduction, right? So in that you talk about your personal self as well as the professional experience, but in a very brief manner. You don't have to write an essay over there, but you have to write what is relevant and effective for your own profile.
Right. Say for example, if there are list of 10 points in the top description,
Mhm.
8 points are pretty generic in nature. It is applicable to all the profiles, but there are two pointers which are specifically mentioned by the managers of the respective departments of the process.
Mhm.
So one need to focus on those respective two specific points and accordingly design their cover letter and the tone and the language of the company and apply.
Correct.
And Johnny, what about the recruiters and the consulting firms? Like working with the recruiters, I guess it's like a double-edged sword. When it works, it really works, and when it doesn't, it's like a black hole.
Correct. So there was this one candidate in Chennai who shared how a consultant promised interviews with five tech firms but ghosted after one call. So yeah, it's a bit scary as well, because you're, clinging on to hopes that this one person will save you.
So basically, I guess the ask is to have a clear communication.
Hmm.
So maybe you can ask the sources, or you can ask about the roles, or you can ask about the clients, and
Hmm.
you can ask about the updates, or
Correct,
maybe
correct.
you can ask about the contact. Because if they are serious about the opportunity, then they will definitely get back.
Correct. And at the same time, you also have to keep applying for individual job postings and stuff. You have to do your own thing independently in parallel. So it's like investments. Don't put all your investments in one basket. Just you have to go in different job. It's like investing. You do it in multiple formats, and accordingly, depending on the market, you might get better returns in one sector where it will cover all the eggs, for example. So similarly in jobs as well, like when you're applying for jobs, you should have a consultant contact as well, or probably multiple consultant contacts, and also do your own thing. So that will help to land jobs faster,
A-
and increase your chances as well.
And how can one deal with ghosting?
So
Not in a dating sense.
that I can't tell. But yeah, that's a very sensitive one. Ghosting is a very weird situation. So we spoke to someone from a tech firm. Basically, that this person was a senior developer from Hyderabad. He was offered a role at a tier 2 software as a service company, and they sent a verbal communication but not a written one. And there was no chatter for at least for another 4 weeks. So this is like this happened, like this ghosting thing happened with this particular person.
And just to drop for our listeners the perspective of an HR, we have covered one episode prior to this one, naming Inside HR, what they really think about hiring. There are answers to this question specifically in that episode, and you can just go ahead and check it out.
Yes.
So you're saying that eventually they went silent, and I guess this stuff happens. So I understand that Seaman emphasizes that interview presence isn't just during the call. It starts from the moment you engage. I remember applying for one job, and it took 3 months for me to land and have an offer letter in my inbox.
Oh.
So basically, it was a 3 month process of an interview and total engagement and lot of communication with the HR and other departments just to have me onboarded.
True. And always insist on having a written communication, right, or written confirmations. If you feel delays or vague replies, it's okay to walk away, but at the same time your job is to also ask directly. And post that, if you don't get any reply, it's okay to walk away.
And the another suggestion is that it will be great if you sound really professional, polite, and persistent, but not desperate.
Yes, that's true. I think that also applies in a dating situation.
And what about interviewing? Like interviewing, right? The ad formula. I remember you mentioned that Seaman dropped something about this framework too.
So it's a very beautiful framework called as ADD, add. So the first A is answer the question. Okay. D is give a detailed example. Okay. And last thing is describe the relevance to the job.
So it's like my relevance to the job.
Correct.
Okay, so let's do a role play. So Johnny, you are a hiring manager and ask me something random.
Awesome. So, all right. Tell me about a time you managed a tight deadline.
So basically, we were doing audit for this one process, which was related to onboarding
Mhm.
and a newly found company, and there was a regulator audit that was coming in the following month, and we just had a window of 1 month to get this done. So what we did is that we split the time by modules. We ran daily sprints, and we did a lot of meetings and a lot of hustles and working over the weekends, since it's a regulatory framework in the picture, and we delivered ahead of the schedule. So I believe that this experience helped me handle similar cross-functional deadlines in your current project timeline as well.
Boom. Clear, specific, relevant.
And also, no bluffing. If you don't know something, acknowledge it and show your willingness to learn.
True. And that brings to our next segment, networking and building a career safety net. Okay. So Seaman talks about building what he calls concentric circles. So basically, it consists of your close work network, your company peers, and your industry peers. All right. So it's like circle in circle, but you have to create this big circle, and you have to visualize that. Oh, who should be in your network? Who should you contact in your company peers, and then have a industry network as well.
Okay, so basically, the bunch of people in the same profession who will help me find job in another industry.
Correct.
So it's like a safety net.
Yes.
And for our listeners, there is one employee that is Tanvi from Nagpur. She found her next role through a Slack group for product managers, not a job board. And she just did it by networking, by dropping a message and just informing everyone that she's looking for a change.
Correct. And and also you have to do this one thing called as engage in LinkedIn comments, join discords or forums like GrowthX, PM School, or Design Up. These are real communities, not just buzzwords.
Because honestly, when layoff happens, it's your network that lands you for your next job, not the apply button.
Correct. And to wrap it up, okay, you have to do these following things like optimize your presence. And when I say optimize your presence, it's not like showing up everywhere every time and be on your guard all the time. No, I'm saying that ensure that you're present in various platforms, and on a timely basis, like a weekly basis, at least you show up. And whenever you're applying with intent. Don't just apply for the sake of applying it, because then at some point of time the algorithm will pick that, oh, he's applying for way too many jobs which are not even relevant, and it shows
Desperation.
yeah, it shows desperation. Follow up smartly. Okay, normally I would say after every 3 days you can follow up, and be very cordial, be very nice. And you also can gauge that, oh, after every 2 3 days, if he's replying back, then it's good. You can also ask for a better time to reach, like you can ask them that, oh, is it fine if I connect with you after 3 days or 4 days? And they would be like, yes, yes, it's fine, you can connect with me. And accordingly, you can be cordial and ask for updates. And if you're not getting an updates for after weeks, at least a week or 2 weeks follow up, then I think that door is closed, right? So that is how you follow up smartly. And treat every interaction as part of your presence. It shouldn't be like you are personally like you followed up first time and you were very cordial, second time you were very irate. So you can't do that. You can't just change your demeanor. You have to be the same person that you are currently and you will be in future, right? And finally, your job is not only to be have a short term connect. You have to build a long term network. You have to have interactions with all the relevant people around you. And sometimes have that nice connect with people once in a while, and keep the network alive. I think we have also have a podcast, Robbie, right, about how to build a network and how to keep going on with that particular thing.
Right. So we have done an episode on that as well.
Yes. So for our listeners, we have that particular topic for long-term networking as well. So you can go on that podcast and have a go at it. All right.
Yeah, and the name of the podcast is Networking Up: How to Connect with Leaders Authentically.
Awesome. Awesome.
And so let us know what's the worst or the weirdest job application experience you've had. You can message us on LinkedIn or through Corporate Elements page on Buzzsprout. We are also on all the platforms wherever you get your podcasts.
And hey, if you find today's episode helpful, drop a rating and share it with your job hunting friends.
Until next time, stay sharp, stay smart, and keep navigating the corporate maze with intention.
This is Corporate Elements signing off. Have a nice day, everyone.
Cheers.